Do you ever feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on your chest? Like no matter how much you work, how much you push, it's never enough. You lie awake at night, exhausted, but your mind won't stop racing. Deadlines, bills, responsibilities. And deep down, the silent thought, I can't do this anymore. If that's you, pause. Take a breath. Because this message is for you. Pressure is not here to destroy you. It's not your enemy. It's a sign you're still alive, still fighting, still moving forward. And today, I want to show you how to turn that pressure into power. Have you ever sat in your car after work, hands gripping the steering wheel, staring at the dashboard lights without the strength to turn the key? Have you ever woken up in the morning, the alarm ringing endlessly, and felt your body heavy as if gravity had doubled its weight overnight? You know you have responsibilities. You know people are counting on you. Yet, the thought of walking into that office, sitting through another meeting, or facing another wave of deadlines feels like dragging chains behind you. You tell yourself, I should be stronger. I should be grateful. I should just push through. But inside, you are exhausted. The pressure is not just at work. It follows you home. It sits with you at the dinner table. It climbs into bed with you at night. Sometimes, it feels like you're no longer living a life of your own, you're just surviving, one exhausting day after another. Maybe you've smiled at your colleagues, nodding along while inside, your chest feels tight, your mind restless. Maybe you've pretended everything is fine, even though you want to scream, I can't keep this up anymore. You scroll through social media and see people traveling, celebrating, achieving. You ask yourself quietly, why does my life feel so empty when I work so hard? Pressure has become a shadow that never leaves. It whispers that you are not good enough, not fast enough, not successful enough. And the cruelest part? You've started to believe it. You've started to wonder if maybe you really are falling behind, if maybe you'll never catch up. And yet, deep down, there is another voice, a smaller one, quieter, but still there. It asks you, what if pressure isn't the enemy? What if it's just a signal? What if it's proof that you're still alive, still fighting, still moving forward? Right now, you might not see it that way. You might feel trapped in a storm of endless tasks, expectations, and self-doubt. But pause for a moment. Think about this, pressure only exists where something important is at stake. Pressure is born when you care, when you want more for yourself, when you still believe there's a future worth reaching for. So before we go any further, let me ask you this. What would your life look like if, instead of running from pressure, you learned how to turn it into power? We often believe pressure itself is the villain. We think the deadlines, the constant emails, the never-ending meetings are what destroy us. But let's look deeper. The real problem is not only the weight of what we carry, it's the way we carry it, the meaning we give to it, and the silent stories we tell ourselves while under pressure. Think about this, pressure shows up when expectations collide with reality. At work, maybe your boss wants results faster than what is humanly possible. Maybe your coworkers seem to thrive under conditions that leave you drained. Or maybe you set the bar so high for yourself that no achievement ever feels good enough. In each case, the gap between what's demanded and what you feel capable of creates the crushing force we call pressure. Psychologists often describe this as the stress gap, the space between what you think you must deliver and what you believe you can deliver. And when that gap feels huge, you begin to suffocate. You don't just feel tired. You start to lose trust in yourself. For many adults between the ages of 25 and 50, this problem becomes amplified because life itself stacks new roles onto your shoulders. At 25, maybe you're chasing your career, trying to prove yourself. At 30, you might be balancing career growth with starting a family. At 40, the responsibilities grow heavier, mortgage, kids, aging parents, leadership at work. And by 50, you may feel like the treadmill never slows down, even though your body and spirit beg for rest. What makes this worse is the silence around it. Rarely do people admit how much they are struggling. You see a colleague who looks polished, organized, and productive, and you assume they're handling everything perfectly. What you don't see is them crying in the shower before coming to work, or lying awake at night with a racing mind. Pressure is isolating, because it convinces you that you're the only one who can't handle it. Let's be real, some pressure is healthy. It can push you to show up on time, to finish a project, to prepare for an important presentation. But when pressure never ends, when every day feels like survival, it doesn't motivate anymore. It paralyzes. And here lies the deeper issue: we live in a culture that glorifies busyness. If you're not grinding, hustling, or constantly on, you're seen as lazy. So we keep saying yes even when we're drowning. We pile tasks on our plate until it breaks. We measure our worth not by who we are, but by how much we can endure. No wonder so many people feel like life has lost meaning. When every waking hour is consumed by chasing deadlines, pleasing others, and trying to stay afloat, you forget what you're chasing in the first place. You forget why you started. You lose sight of what truly matters to you. And let's be honest, pressure doesn't just live in your office. It follows you home. It shows up in your relationships when you feel like you're not a good enough partner, parent, or friend. It haunts your quiet moments when you think, am I really living, or am I just existing? This is the heart of the problem. We've been taught to see pressure as proof of failure. We assume that if we feel overwhelmed, we are weak. But that's not true. Pressure is not weakness. It's simply feedback. Feedback that something in your life needs attention, whether it's your workload, your boundaries, your perspective, or even your expectations of yourself. The tragedy is that instead of listening to this feedback, we fight it. We push ourselves harder, we silence the inner voice that says, I need rest, and we pretend we're okay. Until one day, the body breaks down, the mind burns out, or the heart gives up hope. So let's name it clearly: the problem is not pressure itself. The problem is how we interpret it, how we carry it, and how we let it shape our self-worth. And until we learn to change that relationship, pressure will always feel like an enemy, when in truth, it's just a messenger trying to get our attention. Here's the truth: pressure isn't going away. No matter how much we wish it would, life will always bring responsibilities, expectations, and challenges. Waiting for a pressure-free life is like waiting for the ocean to stop making waves. It will never happen. But here is the shift that changes everything: instead of trying to eliminate pressure, you can learn to reshape your relationship with it. Imagine pressure like fire. Fire can burn you, or it can keep you warm. It can destroy your house, or it can cook your food. The fire itself is not the problem, it's how you use it. Pressure works the same way. Left unmanaged, it consumes you. But when you learn to channel it, it fuels you. So how do you begin? Let's talk about small, practical steps, not huge life overhauls, but things you can start doing today. Change the story you tell yourself. Most of the pain of pressure comes from the narrative running inside your head: I can't handle this. I'm not good enough. I'm falling behind. But what if you began telling yourself a different story? Instead of, this pressure means I'm failing, try, this pressure means I'm stretching. It means I care. It means I'm growing. Think of athletes. A runner feels pressure in their lungs as they push harder. A weightlifter feels pressure in their muscles as they lift. That pressure doesn't mean weakness, it means they're building strength. Break the mountain into pebbles. One of the main reasons pressure crushes us is because we stare at the entire mountain at once. I have to finish this massive project. I have to pay off this huge debt. I have to fix my entire life. No wonder it feels impossible. Instead, break the mountain into pebbles. Ask yourself, what is one small step I can take today? Maybe it's writing the first paragraph of the report. Maybe it's saving $10. Maybe it's making one phone call. Every small victory reduces the weight, because you're no longer frozen by the size of the task, you're moving, and movement itself creates relief. Create boundaries, not walls. Pressure often feels unbearable because we don't know where to stop. We say yes to every request, answer every email, take every responsibility. The truth is, you are not meant to carry everything. Boundaries don't make you selfish, they make you sustainable. Start small. Maybe you don't answer work emails after 8 p.m. Maybe you schedule 15 minutes in the morning just for yourself before the world begins demanding things from you. These boundaries are like oxygen masks, they don't make the plane fly smoother, but they make sure you can breathe. Redefine success. A lot of pressure comes from chasing someone else's definition of success. Maybe society says you should have a certain income, a certain house, a certain career title by now. But what if success for you was something simpler, and more meaningful? Maybe it's time spent with your family. Maybe it's peace of mind. Maybe it's waking up without dread. The moment you redefine success on your terms, the pressure to live someone else's life begins to fade. Practice recovery as seriously as you practice work. Think about athletes again. They don't just train, they recover. Rest, sleep, and reflection are part of their progress. But in the workplace, we act like rest is weakness. It isn't. Rest is strategy. It's the space where your mind and body rebuild themselves. If you push without recovery, you break. But if you respect recovery, pressure becomes fuel instead of poison. Here's the key insight: pressure is not trying to destroy you, it's trying to shape you. It's like gravity in the gym. Without it, you can't build muscle. Without pressure, you can't grow resilience, creativity, or strength. The invitation here is not to run from pressure, but to lean into it differently. To stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can this teach me? How can this make me stronger?" Yes, there will still be hard days. There will still be moments when you want to quit. But now, instead of seeing those moments as proof that you're weak, you can see them as reminders that you're alive, that you're striving, that you're walking a path that matters. So let me ask you again. What would your life look like if, instead of running from pressure, you learned how to turn it into strength? Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Daniel. From the outside, he looked like he had everything figured out. He was in his late 30s, had a good job in a corporate office, a family that loved him, and a house that most people would envy. To the world, Daniel was successful. But inside, he was collapsing. Every day he walked into the office with a knot in his stomach. His phone buzzed constantly with emails marked urgent. His boss pushed him for results, his team relied on him for leadership, and his family depended on his paycheck. He felt like the entire world was on his shoulders. At night, Daniel lay awake, staring at the ceiling. His mind replayed every mistake he had made during the day, every unfinished task, every fear about the future. He would whisper to himself, "I can't keep doing this." But the next morning, he put on his tie, put on his mask, and went back into the storm. One day, the storm broke him. Sitting in his car before work, Daniel felt his chest tighten. He couldn't breathe. His hands shook on the steering wheel. For the first time, he admitted it, "I can't go on like this." He called in sick and went home. He sat in his kitchen for hours, staring at a cup of coffee that had gone cold. In that silence, something shifted. He realized that pressure had been controlling his life, not the other way around. He had been running from it, fighting it, letting it define his worth. And for what? To meet deadlines that no one would remember 5 years later. To chase promotions that never brought peace. That day, Daniel made a decision. He would stop letting pressure crush him. Instead, he would learn to listen to it. He started small. He wrote in a journal every morning, just 5 minutes, to unload the noise in his head. He began setting boundaries, like shutting down his laptop at 8 p.m. no matter what. He had conversations with his boss, not easy conversations, but honest ones, about what was realistic and what was not. And most importantly, he redefined what success meant to him. For Daniel, success stopped being about the title on his business card. It became about sitting at the dinner table and actually laughing with his kids. It became about going for a run on Saturday mornings, not because he had to, but because it made him feel alive. It became about choosing quality over quantity, presence over performance. The pressure didn't vanish. The deadlines still came. The emails still arrived. Life was still demanding. But Daniel was different. Instead of drowning in the pressure, he learned to surf it. Instead of fearing it, he used it as a reminder, I'm still alive. I still care. I'm still moving forward. Years later, Daniel looked back at that morning in his car as the turning point of his life. Not the day he broke, but the day he began to rebuild. And here's the part that matters for you, Daniel was not extraordinary. He wasn't a superhero. He wasn't different from you. He was simply a human being who decided to stop running and start listening. Pressure will always exist. But like Daniel, you have a choice. You can keep letting it crush you, or you can let it shape you, guide you, remind you of your strength. So here we are, at the end of this journey together. We've spoken about the weight you've been carrying, the silent battles you fought, the way pressure has pressed against your spirit. And we've seen another side of it too, the possibility that pressure isn't your enemy, but your teacher. Take a breath right now. Really, pause for a second. Inhale. Exhale. Do you feel that? That's life moving through you. That's proof that you're still here. Pressure may have shaken you, bent you, even brought you to your knees, but it has not broken you. You are still here. And being here means you have a choice. You can keep walking the same path, running, hiding, collapsing under the weight. Or you can choose differently. You can look at pressure not as punishment, but as a reminder, you are alive, you are striving, you are still in the fight. No one said this would be easy. Transformation rarely is. You will stumble. You will doubt. You will have days when the old voices come back, whispering, you can't handle this. But now, you know the truth. You've seen that pressure can be reframed. You've seen that small steps, small boundaries, and small redefinitions can change everything. And perhaps most importantly, you've seen that you are not alone. Every person you admire, every person you think is strong, has felt the same crushing weight. The difference is not that they never felt pressure, but that they learned to let it shape them instead of destroy them. So when tomorrow comes, and the emails flood in, and the deadlines loom, and the weight feels heavy again, remember this moment. Remember that you are not broken. Remember that you have a choice. Pressure is not the villain of your story. It is the proof that your story still matters. It is the reminder that you are alive, that you are moving, that there is something worth fighting for. So the next time pressure whispers in your ear, don't run. Don't fight. Listen. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? How can this make me stronger? And when you answer, you will discover something powerful, that inside you, beyond the fear, beyond the exhaustion, there is a strength you have not yet tapped into. Pressure doesn't hide your strength. It reveals it. So let me leave you with this thought. Pressure is not here to crush you, it's here to remind you that you're alive enough to feel it, strong enough to face it, and brave enough to transform it. Carry that with you. Share it if you must. But most importantly, live it. Because your life is not defined by the pressure you feel. It is defined by the way you rise from it.